This is easily one of the most interesting cities in Canada. And here's how I spent 4 days exploring the cobblestone streets of Old Quebec. I'm Mark, and if you've watched my channel before, you know that a lot of what I cover is here in Southern Ontario. So, of course, I'm starting my journey in Toronto. I thought about driving, which is about 8 hours without stopping, but you really don't need a car in Quebec City, and the Via Rail station is right in Old Quebec, so I decided to give Via Rail a try. I knew it would take about 12 hours. I actually really enjoyed taking the train, and I would highly recommend it. Yes, it takes longer, but man, is it just like relaxing. And the staff comes around often offering up coffee and sandwiches and snacks. You do have to change trains in Montreal, but it's a breeze, honestly. You get off the train in Montreal, you go up the escalator to the main terminal, find your train number for the next leg. You do actually have about an hour to kill in Montreal, so you have plenty of time to get food or step outside for a little bit. I arrived in Quebec City pretty late, but my hotel was a short walk away. And it's just so freeing to show up in the city with no car, no hassle, don't have to find a parking spot. My first night was at Le Monastère de Augustines, which is located in the northern part of Old Quebec City, just inside the old historic walls. This monastery is very historic too, dating back to the 1600s. They have a newer luxury wing here, but I booked a room in the historic monastery. I wasn't sure what the experience would be like going into it, but it turned out to be really cool. The property and grounds are beautiful. They have an amazing restaurant and breakfast buffet, which is not free by the way, and there is a museum which is free to hotel guests. I actually did a whole video on the 3 hotels I stayed at while in Old Quebec, so head over to my channel after this if you want to check that out. So my first full day in Quebec City, it rained hard, but of course I went out anyway and started exploring the streets of Old Quebec. What I love about Quebec City is that the city streets are one of the major attractions. You're not just going from one tourist attraction to the next. Just wandering the streets, rain or shine, is a lot of fun. While I was out, I stopped at this really nice coffee shop for lunch. I really liked the sandwich. It was great actually, and the coffee was great too. Highly recommend this place. The Old Quebec district is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I'm not sure exactly what the boundaries are, but the Upper Town, as it's called inside the walls, and the Old Port area date back to the 17th and 18th centuries. Quebec City, according to the UNESCO website, their words, not mine, states that it's the only city in North America that has preserved its ramparts, aka walls, bastions, gates, and defenses. There's information out there that says that Quebec City is the only walled city north of Mexico City, so maybe the distinction is that Quebec City kept all of its defenses and cannons and all that kind of stuff. The walls, the historic buildings, and the cobblestone streets are what give this city its European feel. The French who settled here have been successful in maintaining the French heritage. You'll find other places in Canada that similarly have maintained a strong connection to their European roots, like Newfoundland. I basically spent the whole day exploring and then headed over to La Buche for dinner. This place is absolutely amazing. It is a must. The vibe is fantastic and fun, and try to get a window seat if you can, so you can enjoy the atmosphere of the city streets outside. Even in the rain, the historic building with its like 2-foot thick walls offers a nice buffer from like the weather outside. The restaurant serves up traditional Quebec cuisine with a modern twist. After dinner, I kept exploring Upper Town and made my way towards the crown jewel of the city, Chateau Frontenac. This was my first time seeing it in person, and it's so much more impressive than what I expected. It's often referred to as a castle, and now I know why. I was genuinely awestruck. The views out to the Old Port neighborhood and St. Lawrence River beyond are incredible. I started to wander away from the chateau with the intention of heading back to the hotel, but around every corner was another amazing little street or building, so I just kept wandering. Eventually, I did make it back to the monastery and pretended like this place wasn't totally haunted. Like I mentioned earlier, I decided to stay in 3 different hotels so that I could basically give you options when you're booking and planning your own trip. Hotel number 2 was Auberge Saint-Pierre. This hotel is located in the Old Port neighborhood outside of the city walls. And I know what you're thinking. And yes, you are less protected from invading forces, but it's a small risk I'm willing to take. The accommodation is a small boutique hotel. The monastery didn't have creature comforts like a TV or a bathroom or coffee, so it's nice to have those in this hotel. After settling in, I walked across the street to the Musée de la Civilisation. It was still raining on and off, so it was a nice way to stay dry for a bit. I'll be honest, It wasn't the most exciting museum. If it's nice out, I would just stay outside because all of Old Quebec is a museum. After that, I actually headed out to Montmorency Falls. Now, this is totally worth it. It's only about 15 minutes outside of Quebec City, and it's a really easy drive. The falls are amazing, and I recommend taking the cable car all the way up to the top. The boardwalk and stairs are fairly easy to navigate once you're there, and you can just follow them across the bridge, over the falls, and just follow it all the way around, and it's just a big, easy loop, goes right back to your car. If you don't want to do any stairs though, because there are a lot of stairs, you can just take the cable car back down. Just make sure you buy tickets for there and back. It's a really easy and fun experience, and definitely worth it. After getting back from the falls, I ate dinner at the hotel at Matto, which is an Italian restaurant. The place was packed, and for good reason. The food was great. After dinner, I set out to explore more of Old Port. Something that I really like about this particular hotel is that it's right on a pedestrian-only street, so you can walk out the back door and you feel like you're right in the heart of it. The weather was pretty wild this night too, actually. The storm clouds were rolling through and the atmosphere was just changing constantly, and the sky was changing colors from purple to orange back to purple. It was really a beautiful night. And I do have to say, I think Old Port might have Upper Town beat when it comes to stunning streetscapes. That's maybe debatable, but you can easily forget that you're actually in Canada. In fact, this town square called Place Royale was a filming location in Catch Me If You Can when Tom Hanks's character tracked Frank Abagnale, Leo, to France. I continued exploring Old Port as the sun went down, and I just couldn't stop walking around. There's so much to take in here. Eventually, I made my way back to the hotel. The next morning, I headed down to the docks to explore the riverfront area. There's actually a cruise terminal here where cruises destined for New England depart from. You'll find a nice park setting here, but not much else. Maybe I'm wrong. If there's more to do there, somebody let me know in the comments. I didn't see it myself, but there is a ferry somewhere around here that will take you across to Lévis, the city on the other side of the river. Now, I've heard that some people will stay in Lévis and then take the ferry because the ferry's free or it's very, very cheap. Now, that's if you're on a really tight budget, I guess you could go for that. But personally, I would highly recommend staying in Old Port or staying in Upper Town. Stay somewhere in Old Quebec. It's just part of the experience, part of the atmosphere of being in Old Quebec. I feel like if you can do it, pay and stay in Old Quebec. I headed back to the narrow streets of Old Port, and it's crazy how different it feels on a sunny morning versus a rainy evening. It's a completely different vibe, but just as nice. The shops were slowly opening for the day, deliveries were happening, birds were chirping. I'd recommend exploring early before the crowds show up. I also found this famous little spot. It seems to pop up on social media all the time if you're searching for Quebec, obviously. And now you know where it is if you want to check it out for yourself. I walked back to my hotel, packed up, and headed to my next hotel, which is the one that I was really excited for. It's actually pretty easy to get your luggage and stuff up the big hill and over the imposing ramparts. From Old Port, you can hop on the Funiculaire, which will take you up to Dufferin Terrace, which is the big boardwalk in front of Chateau Frontenac. It's like $6 to ride, I think, and it's definitely worth doing once. The other option is take the stairs, which is also an attraction in itself. There's great views along the way, but be prepared because it might be a lot of stairs for some people. Oh, sorry, just to back up for a second, at the bottom and across from the Funiculaire is a pretty good and quick lunch spot. It's hard to miss, it's right on the corner. Try the quiche and make sure they heat it up for you. It's really delicious. It's a nice change from like a sandwich or a bagel, and I actually ended up eating there for 2 lunches in a row. Okay, back to the top of the Funiculaire. I dragged my luggage into my next hotel, Chateau Frontenac. I booked a basic king room and I expected to get a small space, but actually I got a pretty spacious room. My view was of the center courtyard where the main entrance is located. Even though I didn't get like a view over the St. Lawrence River, I can't complain. Seeing those iconic spires and turrets outside my window was so cool and iconic. After settling in, I headed out to explore the neighborhood around the hotel. I had walked some of these streets a couple nights earlier, but it looks so different during the day. A pretty iconic and nearby attraction is Notre-Dame Cathedral. It's free to enter and it's very impressive. Not sure how it compares to the other Notre-Dame Cathedral in France, but this was cool. I made my way back to the Chateau Frontenac, where I was scheduled to take a tour of the hotel. This is open to everyone, not just hotel guests, by the way, and I'd highly recommend it, whether you're staying at the hotel or not. There's lots of great info about the hotel and its incredible history. Genuinely some incredible World War II history that you gotta hear about. Plus you get to tour parts of the hotel that not even hotel guests get to see. After the tour, I hung around the hotel, got a drink at the 1608 bar, and then got dinner next door at Le Sam Bistro. Not the best by any stretch, and when you consider the cost, feels kind of like a tourist trap. The restaurant and views are beautiful, the presentation was great, but it wasn't the greatest food that I've ever eaten. I'd go to La Buche anytime over a pricey place like this. After dinner, I headed out to Dufferin Terrace to enjoy the sunset. The best sunset spot is here at the park next to the Citadel. Just follow the terrace to where the big toboggan slides are and go right and go up the hill. There's some amazing views, and most people just kind of linger around here, but if you continue along the path, you'll find other great views too. I spent a good hour here at least. It's just one of those iconic spots that, you know, it's hard to pull yourself away from. Eventually, I made my way back to the room for the first of 2 nights at the Chateau. After not loving my meal at the Chateau, I decided to scrap my plans to eat breakfast at the hotel's buffet, and I headed across the street to La Buchette. The patio was so nice, and the food was amazing. I realized it doesn't look like anything special, but trust me, it was delicious. After breakfast, I went over to Dufferin Terrace and I toured the St. Louis Fort, which today is underneath Dufferin Terrace. It feels like you're entering subterranean catacombs. But this was above ground until the big deck was built above it. What remains is an archaeological site with buildings dating from the 1600s to early 1800s. The structures are old forts and early settlements. It's free to enter and only takes 10 to 15 minutes maybe. There's lots of info and it's a pretty cool place to explore. Next, I took a boat tour. I actually bought my tickets last minute at the concierge desk in the hotel, but you can buy them online or at the docks. My tour was the 90-minute or 2-hour tour, but it's the shorter of the 2 tours. There is one that goes like 4 hours and includes a meal, I think. There might be a sunset one too. I'd recommend doing this boat tour for sure, regardless of how long you want to go for. I love getting out on the water because you get such a different perspective on things. This tour takes you down river to Montmorency Falls and back. You don't get off the boat or anything. It just turns around at Montmorency Falls and comes back. The views are awesome, and along the way you pass under the Orleans Island Bridge, which is pretty impressive to see from below. Once back on land, I grabbed a quick bite and kept exploring. This was my last night and I wanted to be out taking in as much as I possibly could. Quebec City has quickly become my favorite city, I think anywhere. To me, it's kind of the perfect place to visit. It's stunningly beautiful, doesn't require a lot of planning, the food is excellent, it's totally walkable, there's lots happening, and there's just great energy in the city, and it's very, very safe day and night. As a visitor, you have little to worry about. Just book a hotel, book a train ticket, maybe plan a few tours or excursions if you want, and go have fun in a part of Canada that is unlike anywhere else in the country. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.